Hello and welcome to the United Devils' second ever watch along. Today we are going to be watching Tottenham Hotspurs hosting Manchester United as both teams return after the lockdown. Of course, this game was supposed to be held in March, but obviously the circumstances changed, and now they will be happening without an audience, as you can see. Lineups obviously have changed due to new players being available, some players not. Jose Mourinho has named a host of changes. Obviously, Hugo Lloris is in goal, his 14th appearance this season. Serge Aurier on the right-hand side of the wide defence, with Davinson Sanchez and midfielder Eric Dyer operating as an auxiliary centre-back, while Alderweireld and Vertonghen are on the bench. Ben Davies recovers from fitness after likely to have missed the game in March, but is now ready to play. Harry Winks and Moussa Sissoko are the more defensive midfielders in the Tottenham 5. Eric Lamela is operating as the number 10, with Steven Bergwijn and Son Heung-min on the wide areas, and the now fit Harry Kane returns to lead the line for Tottenham Hotspur. On the bench for Spurs, obviously, is Paulo Gazzaniga. The two defenders, Alderweireld and Vertonghen, were likely to start but have been subjected to being on the bench. Giovanni Lo Celso and Tanguy Ndombele and Gedson Fernandes are the midfielders. There's a couple of youngsters in there with Skip and White, as well as Ryan Sessegnon. For Manchester United, David De Gea remains in goal, having only conceded one goal in his last 6 appearances. It is going to be a back 4 for Manchester United instead of the back 5 that played against City, with Brandon Williams going to the bench. Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw all remain. Scott McTominay starts ahead of Nemanja Matic alongside Fred. Bruno Fernandes is going to be the number 10, and a front 3 of Daniel James, Anthony Martial and the returning Marcus Rashford. For Manchester United on the bench, we have Sergio Romero, Eric Bailly and Brandon Williams being the defenders, Matic and returning Pogba and Juan Mata and Lingard as the midfielders, and Odion Ighalo, whose loan has been extended, and Mason Greenwood make up the rest of the substitutes. Manchester United are, of course, in 5th at the moment, on 45 points. Tottenham Hotspur 4 points behind them, but 3 places too, in 8th. And this will be a crucial game in the race for top 4, with Chelsea to play Burnley at the weekend and 9 games left for the teams to make a difference. This will be the first time Manchester United has played at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Obviously, Tottenham did say goodbye to White Hart Lane in 2017, and their last game was against United in a 2-1 win. Of course, United have played Tottenham away since that point, but they have been at Wembley. Obviously, United losing 2-0 in 2018, but winning 1-0 last year with a Marcus Rashford goal, seeing them off. But, however, it was a difficult win because David De Gea was called into making 11 saves during that game, which is the second most number of saves a keeper has been forced to make in Premier League history. The first is David De Gea against Arsenal, making 14 saves in 2017. The teams are getting ready, having already lined up and come out of the tunnel. They are preparing to start, and it's going to be likely that Manchester United are going to be operating very deep and looking to counter Spurs with the pace they have up front with James, Martial and Rashford, like we saw away at the Etihad, and what we attempted to see, I guess, at Anfield too. It's interesting to see that Matic isn't playing. Obviously, he was a regular before lockdown, but McTominay seems to have impressed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and returned to his starting position that he started the season with. So that's going to be something to look forward to. Obviously, Fred and Bruno Fernandes, massive impact, and it's going to be exciting to see him pulling the strings with Rashford, Martial and James countering with their pace. Obviously for Spurs, it's going to be a huge boost for them to have the likes of Kane, Son, Bergwijn, Sissoko and Davies back. It is an odd question as to why Alderweireld and Vertonghen weren't playing, but we'll have to see what happens. And unfortunately, Dele Alli is banned for abusing social media, I guess, and Lucas Moura picked up an injury in training. As you might recall, all the players will, instead of their names, be wearing on the backs of their shirts Black Lives Matter, and they are now applauding as a result. This is the second game of game week 30. Obviously, earlier today, Norwich hosted Southampton and lost 3-0 at home, meaning they are cemented at the bottom of the Premier League, and Southampton climbed to 14th, I believe. The game will begin very shortly with, I believe, Manchester United kicking off. The players are all kneeling in respect to Black Lives Matter. And the game kicks off. It's now with Maguire, United captain, just looking to get everyone in the right positions before they can start thinking about launching an attack. It's Wan-Bissaka now. Spurs are starting by pressing very high. It looks like it's a 4-4-2 almost, with Lamela operating as a second striker. Bergwijn is on the right, Son is on the left, so it'll be a good battle between Son and Wan-Bissaka, who obviously did so well against Raheem Sterling in every game he's played against him. It is now an advanced throw-in for United with Wan-Bissaka. Playing it to McTominay, but headed out well by Eric Dyer. It's another throw-in. Tottenham look to try and counter with Bergwijn. Fred gets a bit of the ball, but the referee deems it as a foul. It's a free kick to Tottenham. Jonathan Moss, the referee today. So now Davies to Son. Press well, but find Davies again. Lloris's kick deflects onto Martial, and Maguire wins the ball, plays it to McTominay, who finds Fred very well. Bruno can't quite find Daniel James. It's cleared by Tottenham. Lamela now. Bergwijn very central. Aurier can't find a pass forward. It's recycled by Spurs. United pressing very high, as you'd expect. Son, but McTominay intercepts. Son, of course, was set to miss this game due to injury, but also a lot of the season because he was supposed to be taking military duty. He actually took that during lockdown and apparently passed with flying colours, so congrats to him. It's now Maguire. Shaw. After a very stuttery restart when he came back from injury, Shaw's looked very, very sharp recently. And so's McTominay, who has the ball now. Bruno. Fouled by Lamela. Similar spot to where he took the free kick against Manchester City. So we'll see what magic he or Fred can conjure. Oh, he has taken it short. It's Rashford in the middle, but the flag is up. And he's not offside. He is onside. So, but of course VAR won't look at that. They don't look at every single call. They would have only looked at it if it had led to a goal for either team. So, now Fred shifting play quickly to Lindelof. Looks for a long ball, trying to find Rashford, but can only find Davinson Sanchez. Ben Davies now winks, plays it quickly to Lamela, but Tottenham have been given a foul after failing to capitalise on the advantage. Just on the edge of the centre circle for Spurs. They'll probably just play it short. Spurs obviously on one of the worst runs of Jose Mourinho's managerial career, 6-game winless run. Saw them knocked out of the Champions League and FA Cup, but now Kane plays it to Aurier, who's in the edge of the box, puts in a ball, but it's deflected by Shaw for a corner. Rashford not marking or catching up with Aurier, who was completely free on the right-hand side, tries to put in a dangerous ball, but it's stopped by Shaw well. It looks like it's Eric Lamela to take an outswinging corner. Spurs obviously have a lot of big players like Eric Dyer, Harry Kane, Davinson Sanchez, Moussa Sissoko. Bergwijn's on the edge of the box as well. Obviously scored a fantastic goal against Manchester City on his debut. But United's zonal marking has been an issue too. It's a deep corner from Lamela towards Davinson Sanchez, but it's cleared by Fred, who looks to play it to James, and does, and he's fouled by Ben Davies. I think Dan James's pace against Davies is going to be crucial for United today. Even if he doesn't actually get a goal or assist, he's always has an impact just with his dynamism and ability to drag players away, create space. It's now Maguire venturing forward, finding Shaw. Can only find Maguire again. Spurs, every single player behind the ball, every single player in their own half. Lamela is operating essentially like a second striker at this point. So now Shaw finding Rashford, who can get past Davinson Sanchez, but looked like he was brought down, but referee says goal kick instead. Used his pace very well, but referee deemed it not to be a foul. Takes it long, trying to find Harry Kane, but could only find McTominay. Shaw. Fred in a bit of danger, but manages to find a pass to Rashford, who's looked very sharp in the opening 7 minutes. Fred now. Bruno. It's Wan-Bissaka now. But the attack is obviously not able to gain any. It's another foul from Fred. He might be set to get a yellow card with the next one. Paul Pogba, of course, returning to fitness, is on the bench. Solskjaer has said that he will ease him in to the lineup and not start him straight away, as you can see. It'll be interesting to see whether he does start him against Sheffield United, where it will be siege tactics from Chris Wilder. So now Son, trying to find Lamela, but can only find Bruno Fernandes. Plays it to Fred. Fred forward pass to Martial. Good strength. Rashford burst past Davinson Sanchez, but Aurier recovers well. Sissoko. Lamela. Tries to clip it to Son, but couldn't find anyone but Lindelof. It's now Fred. Maguire. Both teams not looking to burst forward. United quite happy to have possession at the moment. Spurs dropping very deep, wary of United's attacking players. Rashford trying to find Shaw, but can only find Aurier. But it's a loose pass, and Bruno tries to pounce. McTominay has it now. Fred. Great pass to Martial, who's come deep, but it's won well by Son. And Lloris has the ball, launches it long, trying to find Harry Kane. Maguire wins well. McTominay now. Lindelof. Wan-Bissaka to Martial. Is he brought down? Yes, he is. Winks and Dyer combine to foul Martial. One more goal for Martial would equalise his best ever season in the Premier League and in all competitions. He'll get 11 goal. He'll have 12 goals actually. He'll better his Premier League record, but equalise his record in all competitions in his debut season, where he scored 17 goals in all competitions. Rashford, of course, on his best season yet, with 19 goals in all competitions, 14 in the Premier League. You'd expect them to at least get 5 more each before the end of the campaign in all competitions, especially with the Europa League set to resume in Germany, it would seem. You'd expect United to just be a bit cautious in the first 15-20 minutes, just make sure they don't give anything silly away, and see what they can do with Spurs' tired legs. Obviously, 5 players coming back from fitness could cause problems. So now McTominay, Wan-Bissaka, looking for a long pass, finding Bruno Fernandes, but Dyer recovers well. Plays it through to Lamela. Very well done. McTominay's hassling him. Can he get past him? Fred wins the ball well, but it's counted as a foul. Jonathan Moss is bringing McTominay over. I think just for talking to. It's now Kane coming deep, finding Bergwijn, who finds Aurier in return. Maguire does well. It's a throw into Spurs. Two goals in his first 6 games for Tottenham Hotspur, Steven Bergwijn. Obviously, like I said, the debut against City, he scored a fantastic goal. Then had a thigh injury and was, he was set not to play. Interesting to see whether Tottenham's £30 million Dutch winger will bring up the goods. So, Aurier with the throw-in finds Bergwijn, plays it back to him. It's another throw-in. It's now Bergwijn again, plays it to Lamela on the edge of the box. Finding space, but only could play it back to Eric Dyer, who has played as a centre-back a few times in his career, but mostly in a back 3. It's now Lamela again, finding Winks, who sweeps it wide to Son. Now, first battle between Wan-Bissaka and him, maybe. Son comes central, hits a long-range shot, but it's comfortably saved by David De Gea. The Spaniard has 8 clean sheets in the Premier League this season, which is the same number as he had in the whole of last season. So, obviously the defence has improved, United having the second most clean sheets in Europe, only behind PSG. So, with, I believe, 42 games played. So, they'll be hoping for another one away from home, something that has been a rarity of late. Shaw to Fred. Maguire. Every United player in Tottenham's half. James couldn't find a forward pass, sweeps it back to Lindelof. Victor Lindelof, who many deem as not good enough to start for United, but a stat he has yet to be dribbled past this season. Something that Liverpool fans were obviously praising Van Dijk for. So maybe he doesn't get the respect he deserves. McTominay now could only find Aurier. It's now Winks clipping it forward to Kane, but finding Lindelof quite easily. Maguire now gets past his English compatriot. Wan-Bissaka is almost operating like another centre-back in a back three, because he's not willing to go past the halfway line, it would seem. It would be nice to see him a little bit wider so James can venture a little bit further forward, but maybe just for the next 10 or so minutes he will stay a little bit deeper for now. Especially with the danger of Son as well. Dan James loses possession. Son is now there and he threads a through ball to Eric Lamela, who tries to play to Harry Kane, but David De Gea recovers easily. Lamela is getting into some very good positions at the moment. Obviously, he is going to be the number 10 at the moment for Spurs, with Lo Celso deemed not good enough to start at this point. They are missing Christian Eriksen. It is very clear they haven't properly replaced him. You could see Jose Mourinho looking for another midfielder in that area in the summer, should they have the funds for it. It's now Bruno Fernandes playing it to James, back to Wan-Bissaka, who has gone into the Spurs half. Is a throw in for United after Lamela tackled well, won the ball. Back to Fred. Found Martial, but it's deemed a foul. Seemed like he was just being strong on Eric Dyer, but Jonathan Moss has given it as a free kick. Dyer now on the ball to Davies. Poor pass, McTominay intercepts, but only for a Spurs throw-in. Obviously, there are issues. I can understand why Vertonghen's been left on the bench. Obviously, not signed a contract yet. Alderweireld, however, I don't understand, because he has, and he's committed his future. And so that is a shock. Now, Lamela has fouled Scott McTominay, who's clutching the upper part of his shin. Be interesting to see what Jonathan Moss deems of this. No bookings yet. He is getting a word in his ear, it would seem, but doesn't look like there's anything. It is very late. He does clatter into McTominay. That could easily have been a yellow card, but apparently not. James, loose pass. Back to Lindelof, though. Fred, operating as one of the deeper of the two midfielders. Rashford coming deep, whips in a pass towards Dan James. Does it find him? No. Good clearance from Davies. He heads it out for a corner. It's a great pass, great vision from Rashford, and bouncing ball that could have found James, but Davies does do well against his Welsh comrade. Should be Bruno with the corner in. Will. Outswinging ball from Bruno Fernandes, ready. In the cross comes, it's flicked out by Serge Aurier for another corner. It's cleared by Son. Fred recovers well, but only knocks it out for a Spurs throw-in. Not much action actually happening in either half. It's mostly happening in the centre of the pitch. But Aurier is now in United's third. Looking for a pass, finding Bergwijn. Lamela. Ben Davies. Son. Flicks it past very well to Lamela, who's trying to get past Wan-Bissaka. Can't quite do so. Dan James kicks it out for a throw-in. United have only conceded 2 goals in their last 11 games, one against Club Brugge, one against Everton. However, they were both away games, and so this could be a bad omen. But they now counter with Fred, who plays a good pass towards Martial, but it's recovered well by Eric Dyer. However, the referee has blown it back, it would seem, for a foul on Fred, who's clutching his face. So Fred's driving forward, and Ben Davies does do a very cynical challenge and should probably be booked for that one. It is going to be a free kick for United on just inside their half. It's Maguire venturing forward again, finding Rashford, but the touch was poor and it's cleared for a throw-in. Shaw now. Shaw's not ventured forward as much as Wan-Bissaka either, really. Neither have been sort of eager to make surging runs yet. Probably just easing themselves into it after seeing the Arsenal game where players were getting injured left, right and centre. Maguire plays a long ball to Wan-Bissaka, trying to get past Son. Can't quite do so yet, but finds Dan James now. Plays a nice pass into Fred in the edge of the box. James again to Bruno, whips it in, can only find Davinson Sanchez, but Rashford! Great save from Lloris. Shot from nowhere by Rashford. And now it's Shaw, back to Rashford against Davinson Sanchez. Good strength from Sanchez, but Shaw's got the ball. Plays it to Fred on the edge of the box. Fred looks for a shot, and it's saved by Lloris comfortably. Fred dancing into the box, finding Dan James, who cuts it back to Fernandes, whips a ball in, headed by Sanchez, and Rashford volleys it only straight at Hugo Lloris, who does save well with his feet, and then recycled again, and Fred's shot is again central, and Lloris catches. It is now a throw-in for Manchester United just on the edge of their own half. Of course, being the first game back for these two clubs, they are going to have a drinks break every 22 minutes into each half. Just trying to make sure that everyone is okay. Obviously, we have seen in the Arsenal game where 2 players were injured in the first 20 minutes, and then it was a huge difference for Arsenal because obviously David Luiz came on and hashed things up. Jose Mourinho looking to try and give some tactics to his team, who are in desperate need of a win at the moment. Obviously, 8th place, out of the FA Cup, out of the Champions League on a 4-0 aggregate against Red Bull Leipzig. They are basically playing for top 4 or bust, and the way it is, it doesn't look likely. Even though they've got a almost fully fit side. their defensive issues and contract issues that are affecting their defence will still prevail, it looks like, till the end of the season. We haven't yet been able to see one of those devastating counter-attacks that United have been famous for this season, just because Spurs have been just so deep, and so have United. Neither side really happy to exert all their energy so early on. So now Lindelof, De Gea whips a ball long, trying to find Martial, but only finding Eric Dyer. McTominay recovers well, plays a nice pass to Dan James, who is getting past Ben Davies. Whips in a ball, but Rashford can't quite make it. But he does have the ball now. Plays it to Fernandes in the edge of the box. Gets past and hits it straight at Lloris. United have been looking the more lively in the first 25 minutes. It's a great pass from McTominay to find Dan James, who whips in the ball. It's not quite there. Just a bit too high for Rashford. But it's a good pass to find Fernandes, who gets past Aurier well. But the shot was rather tame. Maguire finding Wan-Bissaka. Son has had to come more central to get some space because Wan-Bissaka is marking him very well. Wan-Bissaka now finds James, who looks to turn Davies but is defending well. Bruno Fernandes now. McTominay loses possession. Finds Eric Dyer now. United pressing with Rashford, but Lloris clears long. Trying to find Bergwijn, but sure head as well. Rashford loses possession now, and Bergwijn is against Maguire and gets past Maguire, gets past another, shoots, and it scores! Steven Bergwijn does score against David De Gea. It is 1-0 to Tottenham Hotspur. His third goal in 7 games for Tottenham Hotspur. Lloris hits it long. Is he offside though? He looks offside. Shaw clears it. Bergwijn, he gets past Maguire easily, gets past Fred, hits it, and De Gea does get a massive hand to it, but he can't keep it out. It will be interesting to see if VAR look at this for offside. De Gea should save that. He can't get low enough, but could be Wan-Bissaka playing him on, but I don't think VAR will even look at this because while he does go for the ball, he doesn't affect Shaw's play. And the goals allowed. United are looking for the equaliser now. Wan-Bissaka. Maguire. Shaw. Sometimes United do need a goal to wake them up. This would be an example of when they should have to wake up because they have been sluggish at points. Bit loose with the passing. Just like now, Wan-Bissaka trying to clip it to Martial but can only find Eric Dyer. McTominay has got the ball back and has been fouled by Sissoko. It is a dangerous free kick. It is a mistake from David De Gea. You have to say he should be keeping that out, especially with the rumours of Dean Henderson potentially taking his place. Won't be doing his confidence any good. Fred and Bruno over this free kick again. Looks like it might be Fred, actually. It is Fred, who whips it in. Oh! Scrambled away by Spurs. Rashford was diving in, but it is cleared for a throw-in. It's a great ball. Rashford looked like he headed it. He headed it straight at Sanchez, and it's cleared by Harry Kane. That's a very good chance. It is a corner. Bruno whips it in. It's headed out by the first man. Throw into United. Fred plays a loose pass. Son now on the ball, very deep in his own half. It's now Aurier, pressed by Shaw. Can't find a forward pass. United are starting to press a little bit more. Lloris hits it long again, but only finds Wan-Bissaka. Plays it back to David De Gea. Bruno Fernandes looks for a pass to Dan James, but could only find Davinson Sanchez. So now Harry Winks trying to drive past the United midfield and finding Serge Aurier very well. And it's Bergwijn now sweeping through the right-hand side. Son there, Lamela there, Kane there. Finds Son, it's a header! Great save from David De Gea. Brilliant save. Tips it over for a corner. Trying to play offside, but Wan-Bissaka is too deep. He's not offside again. It's Bergwijn looking for a great ball. Son's completely unmarked. He headers in, free header, and David De Gea is a brilliant save. Might just have redeemed himself because that should have been a goal. Corner to Spurs. Son taking the corner. Whips it in. Deep, David De Gea punches out. Fred's there. United looking to counter with Dan James. Clattered into. It's a free kick. Oh, shit. United looking to recycle. Lindelof to Maguire. Wan-Bissaka looks for Martial, finds him. Spurs players are appealing for handball, but they don't mind now with Son on the ball. It's playing it to Sanchez again, though. Spurs looking to find their shape. Davies. Lamela now. United are pressing a lot more. Kane. Son's pass blocked by Wan-Bissaka. Lindelof there. Shoved off the ball by Kane, and it is going to be a corner for Spurs. Son with the corner again. Whips it in, and it is cleared by McTominay, but not very far. Lindelof now, owing to the edge of the box. Aurier plays it to, whips it in for Son. And then Dyer miskicks, and then the effort from Sanchez is off. Yeah, it's wide, but he's offside either way. 10 minutes to go till half time, and can Manchester United equalise? It was Spurs' first actual attack of the game that led to a goal, which is disappointing from a United perspective. So now Maguire heading high. Dyer now. Son. Pressed and harassed, but can get away, and now it's Lamela who's fouled by Dan James. So now Harry Winks on the ball. Dyer playing a long pass, but Aurier can only kick it out for a United throw. It's Lindelof to Wan-Bissaka. Lindelof might be a little bit more nervy now after conceding that corner. One of his very few weaknesses is that he isn't as strong as his centre-back partner Maguire. So Harry Kane has tried to use that against him, really. But Spurs now have a throw on the other side. Bergwijn winning one. Sissoko to Aurier. And then Bruno wins the ball and wins a foul. So now Wan-Bissaka. Again, Spurs are very compact, allowing United's back four to have the ball, not pressing them, but everyone else is man-marked, it would seem. Wan-Bissaka can't find a forward ball to Dan James, who is shepherded well by Harry Winks, and it will be a Spurs throw-in. If the score stays the same, this will mean that Spurs will be just 1 point behind Manchester United, and it will be a crucial one in their challenge for top four, or top five it would seem, if Manchester City's ban stands. So now Harry Winks. Ben Davies playing it long to try and find Harry Kane, but Lindelof heads out well to throw into Spurs. This is probably Jose Mourinho's best sort of position to be in. Obviously 1-0 up, 60 minutes or 52 left of the game, and you'd expect him to be a solid, compact unit and looking to counter with the pace they have. Obviously Bergwijn has already demonstrated that, and Son is a fantastic player on his day. So now Lindelof. Couldn't find anything forward, had to play it back to De Gea. Switch places with Maguire now. Finds McTominay. Wan-Bissaka. Finds McTominay again. Looks for an overhead ball, but no one was running for United. Dyer recovers and plays it to Hugo Lloris. Maguire then wins the header. They have swapped sides, actually, Maguire and Lindelof. Looks like a tactical move. Rashford now on the ball on the edge of the box. Found by Bruno. He gives it back to Bruno, who can find Luke Shaw. To Martial. Fred. loses possession. It was a sloppy touch. And now Lindelof wins the ball. Shaw on his own, really, against three people. And the cross is headed out by Davies. Son then clears. Bergwijn wins 2 headers now. Maguire. McTominay. But Son recovers quickly. Trying to find a counter. And now Davies can surge forward. Rashford marking him, but he finds Lamela well. Maguire recovers. Ventures forward. Finds Bruno. Wan-Bissaka now. Rashford now moved on to the right-hand side. Can't find a pass, though. Spurs are very compact. Whips one in, but it is cleared by Eric Dyer and then is fouled by Eric Lamela, which should be a yellow card, but is, again, not. It's his second foul, but both have been rather cynical. It's a kick out. Kicks Rashford, who's now still on the right, looking for Dan James. Finds Dan James, but no foul from Eric Dyer, and then James kicks out. Interesting to see what Jonathan Musk does there. Will he book Dan James? Yes, he will. He'll book Dan James for the same foul Lamela did, which is an interesting decision. Certainly looked like Dyer had fouled James, and James seemed to lash out a bit. Dan James is, of course, United's top chance creator with 6 assists this season. Done especially well, given the fact this is his first season in top flight football, but was a little bit careless there, and it is going to be a Spurs free kick. Lloris taking it long, trying to find Harry Kane, it would seem. Finding Harry Kane. Lamela now. Playing a sweeping pass to Aurier. Now Son on the right-hand side, deflected by Fred, and it's going to be a corner for Spurs. Spurs have finished the half very well. Much more aggressive, much more eager to win the ball back, and United will have to sort themselves out at half-time. Should be Son with the corner again. Is it? It's not. It's going to be Eric Lamela taking an in-swinging corner. We've seen him set up Alderweireld from one of these. But it's cleared by Harry Maguire very well. Bruno Fernandes looks to clear it, but Harry Winks hits the ball very, very high and wide, and it goes out for a goal kick. He hits it, and it does actually take a deflection off Bruno Fernandes, so it could easily have been a corner, but the referees haven't seen it. McTominay now, finding Wan-Bissaka, who's a lot wider, a lot further forward. But the pass back from McTominay was sloppy, and it's going to be a throw into Spurs. So now a long throw from Davies. McTominay heads out, and it's going to be United throw from a deflection from Harry Winks. Will Solskjaer make the change? Will he bring on Paul Pogba? It is yet to be seen what's going to happen, but something has to change, whether it's mentality, whether it's tactics, and whether it's actually players themselves. It's Harry Maguire. It's going to be 3 added minutes at the end of the half. It's Wan-Bissaka playing it to Bruno. Can he get past one? He can't get past the other. But Ben Davies slips. Wan-Bissaka tries to pass it to Martial, but Fred recovers. But it's another poor pass. Can't find Martial. Lamela now. Good strength. Turns Shaw. Gets past McTominay. marked by 3, flicks it by Kane, but it's another sloppy pass. But it's going to be a throw into Spurs. Davies launches it long for Kane, finding Kane, but Lindelof clears before Son can get there. We'll have to see whether first game jitters does affect either team, well, more than it has already, but it is going to have to probably be in the second half where United have to play a lot better. They started slightly brighter than Tottenham, but Tottenham grew into the game much more, and United were punished for a series of errors. And now Aurier's on the ball, but the cross or shot or whatever it was really bad, and it's a goal kick. It's played short. United obviously aren't gifted with the target man that Spurs are, but Tottenham's compact shape is proving very difficult for United to break down. McTominay now. Wan-Bissaka. Try and get past Son. Can. Plays it back to McTominay. It's now Maguire. Looking for any kind of forward pass. Just about finding Martial. Has gone very deep. Bruno Fernandes. Good turn. Sweeps it to Wan-Bissaka, who's free now on the right-hand side. Looks for James, finds James, tries to put in a ball, but Son defends well, and it's a corner. They'll probably be happy with conceding a corner, Tottenham, because Bruno hasn't been the best with set pieces today. It's an outswinger on the right-hand side. He digs it out. It's a good one towards Maguire. Lindelof with a header. It's cleared out by Ben Davies and then by Davinson Sanchez. It's now Fred, just inside United's half. Plays it to Lindelof. Lays it back to the Brazilian. Looking for any pass, but Tottenham's shape is stopping United from playing any significant balls forward. Rashford now loses again to Aurier. But Aurier's pass is cut out. It's now Bruno Fernandes. Has an effort, but it's saved comfortably by Lloris. Swerving always like the one against Everton, but Lloris reads it well. He hits it long now, Lloris, towards Kane, but only finds Lindelof, who does well in the air. Gets it again, tries to hit it long, but can only find Dyer. Fred now. Sissoko, bit of air tennis even. Sissoko again, tries to find McTominay, but he's won the ball. Bruno now, looking for a pass, trying to find Martial, but the pass is too long, and it's going to go out for a goal kick. That should be it. Bruno has gone down, clutching his leg. He's looking for a foul, but I don't think he's going to get it. All the added time has been played now. It probably will be the last kick. Hits it long, and that is half time. Manchester United are down a goal. A solo effort from Stevie Bergwijn, who got past Maguire, Shaw and Fred to hit a strong effort past De Gea, who honestly should have saved it. But United are 1-0 down. The first game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium after a sluggish end to the half. We'll have to see if that improves in the second half. We'll be back just before half time to answer any questions you might have. So anything else you would like for me to discuss will be discussed 5 minutes before the half. We are back for the second half now. The players are back in the team. No substitutions seem to have been made yet, but Pogba was doing a rigorous warm-up before the players came back. It will be Tottenham to get us underway. And looks like they're going to play it long towards Son, but it finds McTominay nicely. Bruno, looking for a long pass towards Rashford, but can only find Hugo Lloris. He'll need to get on the ball a lot more, Bruno Fernandes, because he will be pivotal to any attack United make. It's going to be United's throw. Play it Fred to Rashford, back heel to Bruno, who finds another pass to Rashford, who doesn't quite get there, and he is offside. As I said before, the end of the first half, United do have to play a lot better. They do need to be much faster, much sharper on the ball, press much harder. At the moment, there are a fair few substitutes warming up. Saw Matic, Pogba, Greenwood and Mata all warming up, ready. And of course, United and Spurs are both able to make 5 substitutions in 3 different spaces. McTominay now on the ball, playing a long pass to Martial, finding him. Bruno now plays it into Dan James on the left-hand side. No one in the box, Dan James on his own. He cuts back, finds Rashford. Rashford now in the box, looking for a play towards Bruno, but it's defended well by Lamela. Spurs now on the counter. Can Fred get the ball back? No, he can't. Bergwijn now. It's cleared slightly by Lindelof. Maguire now. McTominay on the ball. Fred. It's a sharp start from United so far. Bruno Fernandes now trying to play it to Dan James, but could only find Serge Aurier. Now thrown to United. Fred on the ball now. No movement ahead of him. He finds Fernandes behind him. Wan-Bissaka on the right-hand side. Much more advanced than he was in the first half. Martial plays it to Bruno. Clips it. Tries to find Martial, but it can only find Eric Dyer, who clears. McTominay heads towards Martial. Dyer again, away. He's done very well so far. Winks. Davies. It's Harry Kane, very central. Whips in a pass to find Son, but Lindelof headers out, only as far as Lamela. But his pass is poor and Maguire has the ball. It's now Shaw. Maguire, who was very poor against Steve Bergwijn. It's now Shaw again. Lindelof finds Wan-Bissaka. Son is very deep and tracks him all the way, so he passes it to McTominay. It's now Rashford trying to find Shaw, but only finds Steven Bergwijn. It's a throw into United. It's now Maguire. United can't really get through Tottenham's defensive line. It is very, very deep, as it was for most of the half. It's going to be interesting to see whether United can break them down. Obviously, used to this with the lower level teams, not big 6 teams, but it seems that Spurs are trying to use the same tactics United have done against the top 6 sides, which is going to be interesting to see whether United can actually solve that problem. Pogba is vigorously warming up. It looks like he might be coming on very soon, as if nothing changes in the next 10 or so minutes. Spurs with a short goal kick. It's Ben Davies. Flicks it to Harry Kane, but Lindelof does well in the air. McTominay driving past one, finding Dan James, who can't get past Harry Winks and is fouled. It's a free kick to United. About 35 yards out. going to be those same two again, Fred and Bruno Fernandes over the ball. Will it be an in-swinger from Bruno or an out-swinger from Fred? It looks like it's going to be Bruno Fernandes this time. Fred, of course, made a good chance from that side, but Rashford couldn't get the header. It is going to be Bruno Fernandes, puts in a great ball. It's headed out by Spurs, only as far as Shaw, just on the edge of the box. Plays it to McTominay. It's marked by Aurier very well, but McTominay's made a good turn. Tried to get it to Shaw, but the pass was poor. He finds Maguire, though. In turn, finds Fred, the deepest of United's players. Gets it to Dan James on the right-hand side. Tries to play it to Martial, but only finds a Spurs player, and Son can try and counter. Great pass from Aurier, finds Spurs players. Lamella now trying to feed Son in, but the pass was poor, and Lindelof can let that go for a goal kick. It's a great first-time pass from Aurier to sweep it to Spurs. So I think that's Son. Ben Davies, in fact, on the left-hand side. And feeds Lamella, but the pass was poor. Does mean, though, Spurs can go back into that shape that's been working. But it's a long pass trying to find Rashford. Can only find Bruno Fernandes on the rebound. But Sissoko recovers and back to Lloris, who hits it long. Trying to find Harry Kane. Marshalled well, but Fred slips and United give away possession. It's now Aurier. But Fred does finally... but the pass again is poor. It's now Sissoko, Harry Kane. Wan-Bissaka wins the ball. Fred again. Third time lucky. Dan James feeds Martial. Touch was heavy, but he still has the ball. And is fouled by Eric Dyer. United play it short. Fred. Fernandes. Fred sweeps it to Shaw and finds him just on the edge of the box. Looking for any players he can pass to. Bruno now. Plays it back to Maguire. Clips it to Wan-Bissaka on the other side of the pitch. He's looking to get past Ben Davies. Has the pace to beat him, but instead opts for McTominay, who puts in a ball. It's poor, but Wan-Bissaka recovers and has it. Has a chance. Tries to get past one, but it's cleared and it's a throw into United. Seven minutes into the first half, United have dominated possession, but can't find a chance. It's Fred, deepest player for United again. McTominay. Wan-Bissaka. Marked by Son. Puts in a left-footed ball towards Rashford. Header is wide. Was a difficult chance. The ball wasn't the best, and Rashford was always leaning back, so it was going to be a difficult chance, and it is a goal kick for Spurs. He has 3 goals in his last 2 appearances against Tottenham. Having obviously scored a brace at Old Trafford earlier this season, and the winner at Wembley last year. So now Sissoko sweeps it to Davinson Sanchez, who's hardly put a foot wrong. Aurier. Lamella loses possession. It's now Fred and Bruno, and United can counter. They're on the advantage. Martial now getting a rare touch. Martial to Fernandes, who hits an effort and just wide of the post. It's a goal kick to Spurs, but that was a good counter-attack. It shows that United can break on Spurs and can get chances, but there were no runners really for Fernandes to pick out, so he goes for the first time effort, and it's well hit, but it is just wide. Lloris hits it long, trying to find Bergwijn, and it's a United throw-in. He now sweeps one, Bruno Fernandes, but can only find Tottenham players. It's now sloppy again, and Spurs look for the counter with Son, but it's headed out by Lindelof, only as far as Lamela, who is only looking for a backwards pass and finding Winks. Ben Davies. United pressing well, forcing Spurs back. McTominay wins the ball and is fouled by Harry Kane. So now Fred finding Shaw. No real options forward. Back to Fred. Lindelof. McTominay. Wan-Bissaka now. Marked again by Son. Gets past Son, but can't get past Ben Davies. The cross was deflected, I believe, but Shaw now has it. Fernandes missed kicks, but Maguire recovers. It would seem this season United have the best chance to score against Spurs. Spurs only keeping 4 clean sheets this season to United's 8. So they would hope to not add to Spurs' few tally. Obviously, they have kept the least number of clean sheets in the league. Martial now trying to get past Sissoko. Can't quite do so. And the Frenchman recovers, finding Son, then Kane. Playing to Bergwijn. Spurs look to try and counter. Aurier now. Trying to feed Lamela, finding Lamela. Not got a lot of space to work with, the Argentine. Is he going to get past Lindelof? No, he can't. Shaw recovers well, but Aurier has the ball again. Fred recovers. Finds Bruno Fernandes. United are on the have an advantage. Finds Dan James, but the touch was loose. Ben Davies now surging forward, finding Harry Kane. It's now Harry Winks. Aurier again being tracked by Rashford all the way. But Shaw then fouls Aurier because he gets past him, and it's a free kick to Spurs. Aurier asking whether it should be a yellow card, but doesn't look that way. Spurs recycle with Davies, finding Son, who flicks it to Kane. Marked by Lindelof, has to go deep, finding Sissoko. United much more aggressive in the first 15 minutes. Pushing Spurs all the way back, but they're comfortable to do so because they're 1-0 up. So now Davinson Sanchez finds a good pass to Son. Kane. Son again. Finds Bergwijn, but it's challenged by Maguire. But Harry Kane still has the ball, looking for Lamela, but Shaw does very well. And Maguire clears for a throw-in. Bergwijn's still down. Good play from Spurs. Maguire does win the ball, but leaves Bergwijn in a heap. Kane puts in a good ball, but Shaw does very well to stop Lamela from getting a significant touch on it. It is going to be a throw to Spurs. Bergwijn is back up, but is limping. I think he's probably going to walk it off. Obviously, Spurs don't have many options in attack. They have Lo Celso and Sessegnon, but could go for Skip as well. No Troy Parrott either. Pogba is getting ready. It looks like he is going to come on very soon. But the question is for who? It could be for either Fred or McTominay. I would suspect McTominay. It is going to be Mason Greenwood too, so I would expect Dan James to go off as well. So now McTominay plays a crisp ball to Dan James. Looks to get past, finds Wan-Bissaka. Can't find a cross. Still marked by James and now by Son. He's marked into a corner, and Ben Davies has let that go, and he's won that well. Son now. Winks clears, but Maguire finds it. United still laying siege on Tottenham. McTominay. Bruno. Wan-Bissaka looks for a first-time ball, trying to find Rashford and Martial, but it's cleared well by Aurier, and it is a foul and a free kick to Spurs. They are going to come on now, it would seem. Solskjaer giving them both some stern words. Not yet, it would seem. Tottenham Hotspur goal kick. Aurier heads it. It's now down to Lamela, who gets past McTominay, plays it to Son on the Tottenham's left-hand side. Marked by Wan-Bissaka, puts in a great ball towards Bergwijn, and Shaw heads out for a corner. Bergwijn is completely free, but Shaw does recover very well to head it out for a corner. But you could argue that he should have been with Bergwijn all the way, and so should have defended a little bit better. It is going to be Son with the corner, out swinging on Spurs' right-hand side. United defending zonally, as we've seen all season. Son with the cross in. It's headed out, it looks like by Harry Maguire, but it is going to be a goal kick to United, and the substitutions are going to be made. Again, not yet. Scott McTominay is now fouled after the goal kick, and now the substitutions are going to be made after long deliberation. It is going to be Dan James coming off for Mason Greenwood. He has been unable to use his pace against Spurs, who have been defending very deep. And it is going to be Fred, in fact, who's coming off for McTominay. I guess they want to add a bit more strength in midfield. McTominay, obviously, much stronger, much bigger than Fred, and they want to keep Pogba as well. And it will be those two, the two that started against Chelsea, two that started the season before Pogba's injury and then McTominay's injury. So now Wan-Bissaka, Greenwood. Wan-Bissaka again, tries to clear it, trying to find Rashford. He's found Rashford. The edge of the box. Rashford challenging. Finds Bruno Fernandes on the edge. Pogba deflects. It's now McTominay, Fernandes, finding Greenwood on the right-hand side. Cuts in, Fernandes, first-time ball towards Rashford. Can't get there. Shaw now. It's won well by Sissoko. Pogba tries to challenge, wins the ball. He whips in a pass, can only find Winks, and then it's cleared by Winks for a corner. United immediately looking much more lively with Greenwood and Pogba on. It is going to be a corner for United. Bruno Fernandes taking it from United's right-hand side this time. Let's hope his deliveries are much better. Whips it in. It's a deeper ball towards McTominay, but cleared by Spurs. Bergwijn on the counter. Greenwood wins the ball. Very well. It's now Fernandes. Lindelof. Fernandes. It's Wan-Bissaka now. United looking much sharper. Maguire still venturing forward. Rashford on the left-hand side. Finds Pogba. Fernandes. To Martial's in. But it's defended very well by Eric Dyer, and Lloris can catch it. It's a great chance. Pogba linking up with Fernandes very nicely. And then a great pass into Martial, whose touch is great, but Dyer recovers exceptionally well. And Tottenham can relax. Solskjaer not happy that doesn't go in. But Pogba has the ball again. Finding Luke Shaw on the left-hand side. He's looking to get past Bergwijn, but can't quite do that just now. It's McTominay. Sweeps it to Mason Greenwood. McTominay. Pogba. Looking for a defence splitting pass, but can only play it sideways to Shaw. It's Maguire. Everyone behind the ball for Spurs. Fernandes coming deep. Can't find the pass to Martial or Rashford, and it's won well by Sissoko. Son now. Loses the ball to Mason Greenwood. McTominay. Wan-Bissaka. Greenwood. Wan-Bissaka trying to flick it to Greenwood. It deflects off a Spurs player to throw in for United. So now McTominay to Maguire. Shaw. Cuts past Bergwijn. Finds Rashford in the box. Aurier does well defensively. Shaw now wins the ball from Aurier. Aurier's given the ball away cheaply. It's to Martial, who's in the box. He finds him. He scores! Oh, no! No! What a save from Lloris. That looks certain to be a goal. And Lloris claws the ball away. That is exceptional goalkeeping. Great touch. Great finish. But it's great effort even. But it's in Fernandes. Puts in the corner. It's cleared by Spurs effortlessly, it would seem. Wan-Bissaka now. Jumped the gun as well. Puts in a ball towards Rashford. Finds Rashford. First time to Martial. But Sissoko defends well. United starting to create much better chances. Looking better on the ball. Pressing better. It looks like a goal is coming. Pogba now. McTominay. Greenwood. McTominay again. Maguire. Venturing forward once again. Martial coming deep. Pogba. Whips it towards Wan-Bissaka. Can keep it on. But Son pounces on it. But Fernandes defends well and is fouled by the South Korean. And it's taken short by United. Lindelof. Maguire. Rashford can't find Pogba and Lamela tries to counter, finding Kane. McTominay defends well, but Pogba's fouled Lamela. Spurs going to make a substitution. John Moss was pointing over to the bench, but just looking at that save again, that is a brilliant save from Hugo Lloris. I mean, Martial would have expected to have scored that, but the French goalkeeper has clawed that away brilliantly. It is going to be a drinks break. Sorry, apologies. Not substitution, but they will be making that drinks break with 22 minutes to go. United will know that they have had the best chances of the second half. A goal looks like it is coming. It's just whether United can keep laying siege on Spurs. Of course, we know very well that even if you are laying siege on a team, a goalkeeper and defenders can come to your aid and obviously prevent your team from conceding. We saw it at Wembley last year, obviously De Gea making 11 saves, but it could be Lloris's chance to do that. And Spurs are going to make a couple substitutions. It's going to be Steven Bergwijn coming off for Giovanni Lo Celso. And it will also be Gedson Fernandes coming on too. for Eric Lamela, who has looked a bit more sluggish recently. Obviously, putting on 2 central midfielders for 2 wingers, it probably looks like Spurs will go to a diamond in midfield with Son, Kane acting as 2 strikers. Pogba now on the ball, good strength. Getting past Lo Celso, but only playing it back to Lindelof, who finds Pogba again. It's now Wan-Bissaka, who gives the ball away quite sloppily. It's now McTominay battling with Fernandes and conceding a foul. 20 minutes to go. Can United get a goal? The last time United failed to score, it was at home to Wolves in Bruno Fernandes' debut game for United. So they will be hoping to capitalise on Spurs, obviously willing to sit back and let United dominate possession. Now Spurs in possession. Davies finding Son. Spurs happy to play back. Fernandes losing possession for Spurs. But United defend well. But it will be a throw-in nonetheless. Davies now. Kane, good control. It was almost good control, but Lindelof clears. United can't quite get out just at the moment. It is now Kane finding Aurier just on the edge of the box. Tries to put in a cross. It's deflected by Shaw out for a corner to Spurs. Probably will be Lo Celso to take this corner now, having just come on. Would seem Lo Celso's not going to take it. It will be Son even. Son puts in a ball. It's deep cross towards Gedson Fernandes, but Harry Maguire clears. Lo Celso now. Fernandes finding Lo Celso again. It's a good effort. De Gea clears. It's Fernandes, United's Fernandes, and Rashford looked like he was fouled, and it was given as a foul. Sissoko then kicks the ball away, it would seem. So looked like United were on a counter. It was cynical. Could be a yellow card. Should probably be a yellow card for one of 2 things. The foul was stopping a counter-attack, and then he kicked the ball away. So no yellow card for Sissoko. Fernandes now. Shaw tries to find Martial, who was on the edge of the D, but only finds Spurs players. But United recover it again with Wan-Bissaka, who looks to thread through Martial, but the pass was poor and Dyer's able to clear. To throw into United. You can see the difference Greenwood and both him and Pogba have made since coming in. Probably more Pogba than Greenwood, obviously. But, Spurs are just going to sit back, try and see out the game. And if they can get another goal, they will try. But not exhaust themselves in doing so. Shaw now dancing through, but can only find Spurs players. It's Son now looking to try and counter. Fernandes does a good tackle to stop him from doing so quicker. And Rashford now has the ball. Greenwood on the right-hand side looking to get past Davis, finding Martial, who can't quite get the pass to Rashford and loses possession. It's now Harry Kane trying to find a long pass to Son. Does find Son. It's Son versus Lindelof. Wan-Bissaka's come back now. Lindelof holding up Son, and who finds Harry Winks. Kane loses possession, but Lo Celso recovers. Davies, Son again. "15 minutes to go, plus added time. It's a throw into Spurs. United need a goal. This will be United's 9th defeat of the campaign, if it stays like this, and only the 31st goal they've conceded. It's another Spurs throw-in after Wan-Bissaka headers out. It's a host of throw-ins for Spurs on that side because United can't quite clear their lines properly. It's now back to Son. Tries to find Aurier and does. Aurier in the edge of the box, finding Lo Celso. Aurier again. It's defended well by McTominay, but it's given us a goal kick. He did do well. Greenwood now looking to counter, sweeps it to try and find Rashford, can only find Sissoko. Back with Lloris. Plays it long, trying to find Aurier. Shaw recovers, heads it out, but Sissoko gets the ball. Sanchez now sweeps it long, trying to find Kane. Maguire head as well. It's now McTominay's ball. Lindelof. Shaw. Oh, Fernandes looked like he was fouled by Lo Celso. And it is a free kick for United. Matic looks like he's coming on now. Could it be for McTominay? Igalo's also on for Martial. Igalo, of course, pivotal in the City game for his hold-up play, and obviously was involved in the build-up to the second goal. 4 goals in 8 games for United, and Matic is now on for Lindelof, who is limping off as well. So it looks like it is going to be an attacking change nonetheless, but in the sense that Matic will be playing as a centre-back, but is more likely to venture forward than Lindelof. It's now Maguire to Rashford. Rashford on the edge of the box. Finds Maguire again, who's stayed there, who's driving in. Looks for Greenwood, but it's cleared well. McTominay headers back in. It's headed out by Sanchez, only as far as Bruno Fernandes, who tries to find Martial, but Pogba recovers. Wan-Bissaka now scoops out across, but finds Sanchez again. Shaw now. Maguire finds Wan-Bissaka, completely free on the right-hand side. Puts in another cross. It's towards Igalo, but it's just past him. Rashford tries to keep the ball on, but it's a Spurs throw-in. Igalo can't quite get to that cross, and it will be a Spurs throw. 11 minutes to play. United having 63% possession in the second half. Spurs now try and play it long, but De Gea keeps it. Looking for an option, finds Matic. Fernandes. Maguire. Matic again. Driving past a few, finding a great pass to Wan-Bissaka, who finds Greenwood. Marked by Dyer. Wan-Bissaka again. Pogba venturing forward, getting past Son. Can he try and find a cross? He's looking to get past Dyer. Gets past Dyer. Is driving into the box. Is he fouled? It's a penalty. Penalty to Manchester United. Pogba fouled by Eric Dyer, so strong against Dyer, and it's a clumsy challenge. VAR will have a look, but it looked like a clear pen. Good skill to get past Dyer, and it is. He uses his arm, pushes over Pogba. Certainly not a dive. Relatively soft, to be fair. I'd be a bit aggrieved if it was given against United. It will be Bruno Fernandes, who did take 2 penalties against West Brom. He scored 1, but he also missed 1. Lloris, of course, has saved the penalty this season against Manchester City in their 2-0 win. So it could be a dramatic one. VAR still having a look. VAR has cleared it. It is a penalty. Fernandes now willing to take responsibility. This is a tense moment for United. It is Fernandes, and he's slotted it in. Sends Lloris the wrong way, and it is 1-1. He grabs the ball. He knows we need to score. He fancies United's chances to get the winner, and it's a class penalty. He doesn't do his run-up he did against Bruges or against Watford. Pure class. United are back with 9 minutes to go. Wan-Bissaka clears now, as we've seen him do countless times. It is now a Spurs throw-in, just on the halfway line. Spurs find Son. It's now Lo Celso surging forward. Winks now. Fernandes is fouled by Wan-Bissaka. Eric Dyer had done so well until that point. He'd marshalled Martial exceptionally. But unfortunately, he was clumsy and conceded the penalty. Spurs with a free kick. It's cleared away by Rashford. It's now Ben Davies. It's now Son trying to find Son, but couldn't quite do so. And it will be a goal kick to United. It's played short to Maguire. It actually looks like McTominay's playing as a centre-back, or even in a back three with Matic and Maguire. So it looks like Fernandes and Pogba are playing as a midfield two, and Rashford, Greenwood and Martial make a front three. It's a foul after Maguire knocked Kane to the floor. It will be a free kick to Spurs just on the edge of their half. It's now Ighalo pressing. With Aurier now. Gets past Rashford. Finds a pass but is cut out quite well by Matic. It's now Fernandes onto Rashford. Looks to get past Davinson Sanchez. Finds Bruno Fernandes. A little bit more confidence in United's play. Pogba tries to win the ball. McTominay clatters through Son, but it's given as advantage. Lo Celso driving forward. It's now Gedson Fernandes on the left-hand side, looking to get past Wan-Bissaka. Can't do so. Wan-Bissaka wins the ball, but Fernandes recovers. It's now Winks. Lo Celso, bit more energy in Tottenham's play, willing to try and get the goal that would take them ahead. It is Pogba. He won the penalty, but now concedes a free kick on the edge of the box. It was a poor challenge, really, from Pogba. Didn't have to make it. Lo Celso brought down, and it could be a chance for Spurs to get a late goal and return to get back ahead, really. Son on the free kick. It might be a cross, in fact. De Gea is very, very far on one side, but There's Son now on the free kick. Looks to shoot. It's deflected. Greenwood now looks to get past. Finds Pogba, Rashford, Fernandes. Rashford surging forward. Fernandes tries to get past Son, but finds Pogba through a deflection. It's a lovely through pass to Rashford, who is through on goal. Rashford is recovered well by Davinson Sanchez. Similar one to the pass he played against Chelsea, but Rashford couldn't capitalise, and Sanchez recovers very well. The touch was a bit loose. Wan-Bissaka now wins well. It's going to be a throw into Spurs. Five minutes to go. Can United find a late winner? Wan-Bissaka clears out of the box, only as far as Matic. Matic gets it away now, and again, but there's no one there. Davinson Sanchez has the ball, tries to play it to Spurs players, but there's a bit of sloppy passing, and now it's Lo Celso. Finds a good pass towards Fernandes, who puts in a ball, but it's cleared by McTominay, but only for a Spurs corner. Eric Bailly looks like he's coming on now, or after the corner, it would seem. Corner on the left-hand side for Spurs. Looks like it's Son taking it in. It's cleared by the first man, Bruno Fernandes. Greenwood gets a foot in, but it's deemed as a foul. Lo Celso again fouled. Greenwood this time. It's a little bit further out for Spurs than the one for Son, but nonetheless you'd expect better quality with the effort than the first one that hit the wall. And it is going to be... It was like Harry Kane's going to take the free kick. Has obviously scored a couple in his time, but you can see very clearly Spurs haven't quite replaced Christian Eriksen, who was obviously the set-piece maestro for them. It's probably about, I'd say it's about 27 or 8 yards out, almost 30 yards out. So, unless it's right in the top corner, it should be savable. Touch wood. It's going to be Harry Kane, 2.5 minutes to go. Puts it in, hits the wall straight away. Rashford clears, and United can surge up the field. Lloris has the ball, sends it long to Harry Kane. It's him versus Wan-Bissaka. Strength versus trickery. Kane finds Fernandes, but Wan-Bissaka defends very well, and it's a goal kick. 2 minutes to go. Can there be a winner? United try and take the goal kick short, but there will be substitutions made instead. It's going to be Scott McTominay to come off for Eric Bailly. It's going to be Eric Bailly on the right-hand side, Maguire on the left. Now Matic playing as a proper centre mid, but will sit as almost an anchor, as like they would be in a back three, but has more license to go forward than a natural centre back. And it's now Shaw on the left-hand side. Spurs a little bit more spacious than they have been for most of the half. Rashford gets past one. It looks like he's trying to get through. It hits Fernandes, but he can't quite get there. And it's another penalty! It's another penalty! Fernandes brought down in the box, but it looks like Mourinho is furious because he thinks there should have been a foul against Aurier beforehand. So VAR will obviously have a look. But it looks like it's Fernandes to take another penalty. There are two things to look at here. It's firstly the foul with Rashford, who No, there's no foul from Rashford and Aurier. Rashford then plays it to Fernandes, and there is a small touch from Dyer. I think it is going to be given. It's Eric Dyer again. Oh, no. That's not a penalty. It looked like there was a touch, but that should be overturned, I think. It looks like Dyer doesn't get the ball, but he doesn't get Fernandes either. Does get a little bit of his knee. There will be 5 minutes added on, by the way. Will be. It's going to be disallowed, the penalty. It's not a dive, but it's not a penalty. It's going to be... What is it going to be? I'm assuming it's going to be a free kick to Tottenham. Jose Mourinho does look relieved that it's not going to be a second penalty for United. It's Maguire headering out. Pogba, Ighalo now. But it is offside. Ighalo was offside. There's going to be 4 minutes left. Probably a few more added on because of the VAR check, I assume. It's now Spurs with the ball. Lo Celso trying to find Aurier, can only find Shaw. Maguire now sends it wide. It goes out for a throw into Spurs. Can there be a dramatic turn to this game? Kane now finding Son. Kane again. It's now Harry Winks to Gedson Fernandes, who looks to have a shot. It's blocked. Son again. Defended well. Maguire looks to try and set up a counter. Rashford now gets past Sissoko. And is he fouled? No, he's not fouled. Sissoko wins the ball. It's now Kane. Fernandes. Ighalo defends. Pogba now looking for Greenwood. Gets past Ben Davies. Oh, is that a foul? No, it's not. Oh, now it is. Yeah, he's given the foul now against Mason Greenwood. Harry Kane bringing him down. It's going to be Nemanja Matic to play it short. Fernandes back to Bailly. I think it's his first touch of the game. 2.5 minutes to go. Hits it long. Looks for Ighalo. Can't find Ighalo. Shaw has it now. Looks for Pogba. Battling with Sissoko. Battling with another. It's a Tottenham throw, though. Few hard challenges. Kane tries to sweep it forward for Fernandes, but only finds Wan-Bissaka. Looking for a counter. And Fernandes with the ball after a couple of strong challenges. Sanchez recovers. Aurier now. Shaw. Fernandes. United's Fernandes. Looking for Greenwood. But Spurs Fernandes recovers. Harry Winks. 2 minutes left. Lo Celso battling with Shaw. Fouled by Shaw. It's a free kick. And they will play it short, as opposed to sending it long into the box, looking for a winner. It is going to be Fernandes versus Wan-Bissaka again. Can't get the cross in. Greenwood wins the ball fairly. Gets past Son. Looks to get past another. Fernandes sweeps it forward to find Rashford, but can't. Sissoko did very well to stop that. It's been Harry Winks now, looking for Fernandes, but the pass was poor. There's a minute left. Can either side find a winner? It's now Matic to Shaw. It's now Maguire. Bailly. Wan-Bissaka. Bailly again, looking to try and play a pass forward. Only finds Wan-Bissaka. United playing around the back four. Shaw. Rashford. Loses possession. It will be a throw into United. Plays it. Finds Shaw. Can he get past Aurier? He does. Can he find Igalo? Again, he does. Greenwood just inside the box. Looking to cut in. Hits it! Oh, it's just wide. Could that be the last action? Could have won it. That was the moment that we were looking for. Greenwood gets past Davis quite nicely and fires it in with his right foot, but it is just wide. Will this be the last kick of the game? No. Matic now driving forward, playing Fernandes. Looking for a hit. It's very, very wide. Should be a minute or so extra because of the VAR call, which wasn't factored into the added time. So you would expect at least another minute. But it is now the 96th minute. They have played an extra minute to the 5 given. Lloris with the goal kick, hits it long. And it is the final whistle. No win for Manchester United. They do remain unbeaten. Spurs still remain winless. It's a 1-1 draw here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. A goal from Stevie Bergwijn 27 minutes in. Poor defensively from Harry Maguire. Poor hands from David De Gea. Spurs then had a few chances to double their lead, but De Gea or the defenders denied them. Then, Spurs sat deep, allowed United to surge forward, try and find an equaliser, but, defensively were very, very solid for most of the game. Then United brought on Greenwood and Pogba for Fred and Dan James, and that changed the game. United had a bit more fluidity. They started creating better chances. Martial had a couple of opportunities, one blocked by Dyer, one brilliant save by Hugo Lloris. Pogba then managed to drive through Dyer and through Ben Davies, and then was fouled, awarded a penalty. Fernandes stepped up and scored and equalised the game. United were then given a second penalty, but after VAR it was decided that it wasn't enough contact, or there wasn't any contact, and so the penalty was receded. The game finishes as a draw. United will then be on 46 points. They still will be in 5th, and I believe they'll be 2 points behind Chelsea with Chelsea having a game in hand. Spurs, however, will then be on 42 points, and then will, I believe, stay where they are. If I'm not mistaken, they'll stay in 8th place. United will stay in 5th. Obviously, United's position will still guarantee them Champions League football, but technically Wolves and Sheffield United could overtake them with wins. Spurs could be overtaken by Arsenal should they beat Brighton on Saturday, and Chelsea do remain 2 points ahead of United with a game against Burnley to come. So that is everything so far for Manchester United against Spurs. If you have any questions or any topics you'd like for us to discuss, then please comment below on the YouTube video. And if you enjoyed this, please like this video, subscribe to our channel.